Now then, let's Geronimo into this. And I'll give you my personal favourite episodes from the Moffat era. Now, I'm not going to do Series 10 because, well, that hasn't finished airing yet. So these are my personal favourite episodes per series for the Moffat era. From 2010 till, well, 2016 really. Now, for Series 5, when most people go through it, they usually pick the best episode being Vincent and the Doctor. And while it's not one of my favourites, I can kind of see what people mean by that. It is a very kind of heartfelt story. If I had to pick a personal favourite though for Series 5, for me, it came one episode later, The Lodger. The one where the Doctor has to essentially become a lodger for a man named Craig Owens, played by James Corden, and mad antics occur with the Doctor just trying to be himself and also trying to deal with a mysterious machine that's causing the TARDIS to go haywire. I mean, James Corden, he's funny. He's funny in this episode. He provides some really good comic banter against Matt Smith, and it's a really fun episode to watch. I mean, it's not the best, but you know what? It's one of my favourites. And kind of linking on from that, for Series 6, my personal favourite episode, while most people may go for The Doctor's Wife, and I can see the appeal of that episode, my personal favourite episode for Series 6 was Closing Time, which in a way is a sequel to The Lodger, with Craig, once again played by James Corden, showing the Doctor once again visiting him on his way to see the alignment of Exodus, and them getting caught up in the midst of a Cyberman invasion beneath the shopping centre. Which, you know what, when Matt Smith and James Corden got together, that was just great fun to watch. Just the two of them kind of acting off one another, and just seeing Craig face off against, while the previous alien he'd faced off against was only really a hologram, it was mostly in humanoid form. This time he gets to see a proper threat that the Doctor has come to know. So while the Doctor may not be fazed that much by it, Craig, seeing his reaction to it's brilliant. I mean, once again, it's not the best episode, but you know what? It's a fun episode that I usually end up coming back to, and I love it. Although the ending, when the Doctor kind of helps out Craig and then suddenly disappears, that bit I found quite sad, but you know what? It's a good episode. Now, they split up Series 7, and I'm going to do the same. For 2012, i.e. Series 7 Part 1, the best episode, or at least my favourite episode from that year, was Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. I mean, how can you really go wrong with something like this? I mean, you've apart from the Doctor, Amy Pond and Rory, you've also, in terms of actors, got Mr. Weasley from Harry Potter, August Filch from Harry Potter, Lestrade from Sherlock, and David Mitchell and Robert Webb. I mean, how can you go wrong? Plus, you got one of the coolest concepts you could ever imagine. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. I mean, it's an awesome episode. And just seeing everyone do what they do, I mean, along with everyone else. I mean, Rupert Everett trying to follow a set of rules, but also giving into his big game hunter instincts and then being put down by Queen Nefertiti. That's hilarious. Please do not start flirting. I will not have flirting companions. It's a funny episode, and whereas with the rest of first half of the series, it was either kind of building up to the Ponds kind of leaving, this episode is just it's a fun departure from that, and it's really fun. Anyway, 2013 came around, and the other half of Series 7 came around, and while I do have another honourable mention that I will give, a personal favourite of mine from Series 7 Part 2 was Nightmare in Silver, the second episode to be written by famous author Neil Gaiman, who also wrote The Doctor's Wife. I don't hear much about it, so I don't know if I'm just alone in liking it, but I feel it's a really good episode. It takes a Cyberman who at this point had kind of become a little bit old hat and rather commonplace within Doctor Who, and it gives them a new design, which I wasn't sure about, but I've come to like, and also gives them more speed. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I always heard the Cybermen criticised for, that you could hear them from a mile away. This time you've no escape. And the way they did it, Matt Smith was able to take one of the lamest theatre effects, like turning your head to one side and playing one character, then turning your head to the other side and playing another. He was able to take that and make it creepy. Like, really creepy. The debate and chess game between him and Mr. Clever. Oh. Plus you got Warwick Davis in there, and he's always fun. And before I go on, I guess I've got to give an honourable mention to one of the best episodes, The Day of the Doctor. I mean, this was the 50th anniversary episode, and you know what? It's brilliant. Just seeing David Tennant, Matt Smith, and the late John Hurt all acting together for the 50th anniversary, along with Jenna Coleman and Billie Piper in there. It's a great fun to see, and also it filled in some of the plot holes, or not necessarily plot holes, but some of the missing pieces from Who's history, like his romance with Elizabeth I. Ho ho. Anyway, for Series 5, I have a tie. Once again, Series 5 has a lot of good episodes, but two of my personal favourites were Episode 3, Robot of Sherwood, where the Doctor and Clara end up in Sherwood Forest and actually meet Robin Hood, to which Ben Miller is the Sheriff of Nottingham. You can't go wrong with that. And the other personal favourite episode I had was Episode 5, Time Heist. I mean, I personally haven't seen Keeley Hawes and anything, but you know what? She does really well in this episode, and it's fun to see the Doctor pulling off a heist with Clara, Sai, and Sabra. All of them together makes for an enjoyable episode, as does Robot of Sherwood. And for Series 9, once again, they're two parts of the same story, so I'll give it to them. My personal favourite from Series 9 was The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. Once again, it's great to see Missy back. It's good to see how she survived the Cybermen. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be Doctor Who if the Master didn't survive. Plus, I personally feel The Magician's Apprentice succeeded where I personally thought 2012 episode Asylum of the Daleks fell short. This time, the classic Daleks, you get that sense of... Yeah, you get that sense of feeling when the classic Daleks come rolling over the hill. You're like, oh boy, oh yeah. And finally, to finish off this video, I actually liked the 2016 Christmas special, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. I mean, I've seen it bashed. I've seen it booted around. People think, oh god, not that episode, just a cash grab. And I actually enjoyed it. I mean, Justin Chatwin does well, as does the actress who plays Lucy Fletcher, and it's good to see Noel Dole back. I was a little confused about how he could still be here, but you know what? It's a good episode. It's fun. It took a demographic that was actually quite popular recently, i.e. the superhero movies. We've had years of them, and it did Doctor Who's take on it. Plus, it filled in some of the missing parts, like with River. Gavin explained it all, and you know what? I liked it. So once again, as I said, I can't list anything for Series 10 yet until it's finished airing, but I might do another video near that time. So there you go, my personal favourite episodes from the Moffat era. Till next time.